Hey everyone, welcome to another Punk Perspectives. Today I got a really good one. I have desert legend, the captain of Salton Sea, Mr. Sean Wheeler.
Hey, what's happening?
Hey, thank you for doing this. As everyone knows, I've been going through the Warped Tour 2002 comp, um, breaking down each song one by one, what they mean. And so today I want to be talking to you about the song Bag of Glue. Um, a couple things I want to just touch base on first about that song, and I guess about the band too, if you don't mind, briefly, is uh, one, when I hear that song, it catches you off guard. There's not any other sound like your band on that comp. I've heard people call it country rock, like rockabilly. So I guess I'll ask you, what do you label your music as, and how did the band start?
Oh man, I don't know what I would label it as. We called it a lot of things. You know what I mean? Cow punk, sailor rock, punk and roll. It's just, it's like if you listen to the Sex Pistols or I mean, it's just all kind of rock and roll and it's all kind of punk. You know what I mean? Within its attitude. I mean, obviously it's not hardcore or anything, but uh, I would, I would just call it punk rock now to simplify it, you know? And the
Yeah.
band started, I was going to call the guitar player because he's the guy who remembers everything,
Mhm.
m- maybe 94 or something. It's been like 30 years or more, which is nuts. Even this 2002 comp, I forgot about it till you mentioned it. And then I couldn't remember the words to the song, dude. And we got a show coming up. I'm like, oh my God. So I looked it up to see what we're talking about. Who else is on that CD?
Oh man, especially like where you got caught off on this one. So on this comp, I mean, you got, Mighty Mighty Bosstones, NoFX, Casualties, Lawrence Arms, Swinging Utters. I mean, it's you got 50 bands on this.
That's right. I guess the Utters would be, I don't know if we're close to that, but that's kind of punk and roll or kind of, I mean, I guess that's street punk. I don't know what you would call it. I'm not sure with all the names, but I know I love them, you know. They're so they're so badass.
Yeah, and that's what I would say, dude, is I don't think there's a fucking band that really has a sound like yours. You guys are so unique in that. And I mean, and I'm serving my memory of this correctly. I think you're one of the first punk bands that had an upstanding bass, right? Like, if I remember correctly,
I
like,
mean, we had an upright bass when we started,
yeah.
and the thing is, when we started, I wanted it to be a little different. I had not a completely different. I had a different vision, and as time went on, so we were always pretty much just punk in spirit. So when we started, they were putting us on shows with a lot of traditional rockabilly bands. There were a lot on the West Coast in Southern California. So we'd be playing with like Big Sandy and the Fly Right Boys and Dave and Deke, and we didn't fit. Those people would be like, "What? This is a bummer," you know. Or like some people liked it, some people didn't. And we had these really good friends that we used to play with a lot early on called the Humpers, you know. And the Humpers, they had a record on Epitaph that was pretty good, but their earlier stuff on Sympathy for the record industry was super great. And even their earlier stuff. And one morning I go, man, we need to write songs like with catchy choruses like the Humpers, you know, because they had a lot of songs like that. And that might have been what inspired Bag of Glue, you know, like I started, you know, and then anyways, yeah, you know. I already forgot what I was talking about, which you're gonna find is typical with me. I'll just start talking and get lost.
It's all good, man. No, come with that because your sound again,
Oh, upright bass, dude, upright bass. Well, you know, I saw the Meteors in probably 1982 or 1983, and Golden Voice shows back then were really mixed. So the Cult, which was at the time the Death Cult, you know, Death Cult played. The Meteors, it was their first time over from England. Oh, wait, but they didn't have an upright bass. They were just psychobilly. So I'm wrong anyways. You know what I mean? They were psychobilly without an upright bass. So that story doesn't apply. I'm trying to think of punk bands with an upright bass. I
Yeah.
don't think there were too many though, you know, and at the time you could get upright bases, they were everywhere. People they hadn't really people weren't seeking them out again, you know what I mean? But it didn't work. It always fed back and we eventually went just to an electric bass after a few years. By the
Yeah.
time Bag of Glue was recorded, that was probably a Fender P bass or something.
Okay. And see, that's what I was trying to think of too, like remembering like, and I feel like also you even had maybe like a washboard, like your band was just so different when I saw it. Like I said, when you listen to the comp, it fucking hits you. Like there's nothing really sounds like it. So it really catches you off guard. And then I want to get more into the lyrics too, to like pick your brain on what the song was about, because there's lots of rumors of what Bag of Blues about. Uh, yeah, so
It's not that interesting, but we'll definitely talk all about it.
okay, sweet man. But so let me just touch base on that bit too. How what was your first Warp Tour, and how did you start getting booked on Warp Tour, and what was that
Oh,
experience?
actually, you know what? It does make sense. Now it's gonna all make sense. But with the history of it, uh my first Warp Tour was I was I got a phone call from a friend the year it might have been the year no, it was probably let me think 97 or 98. I guess 98 and Rancid needed another merch guy. And and the guy called me was like, well, you know, from what I understood, they wanted someone that was sober, and I was sober for a year at the time, and so I flew to San Francisco because there was already a few shows in, and I did that whole warp tour with Rancid, which was amazing. They were super cool. I didn't know them before that, and maybe that's where the connection started, And then what happened was Throw Rag, because we'd been playing a lot before I got sober. It was a totally different band. It was I'd be naked, and we're pretty much banished from everywhere. I was out of control. I mean, arguably a bummer, you know what I mean? And just pretty. So we get this Warp Tour show maybe the next year, I don't know, or the year after, and Throw Rag does. And I told the guys, I go, hey man, we're going to uh, we're going to take this show. It was in Central California. It was a drive, 4 or 5 hours. And those are opening bands on that tour. They either get nothing or $50 but they're just happy to be there. I go, we're going to go there. We're going to play early. And I'm going to go to every tour bus and I'm going to knock on the door and tell the bands, hey, we're playing for free. So you can come watch us. We're a great band and we want to tour and we don't know nobody. So I did that. And the Dropkick Murphy guys actually came and watched the set. A few of them did. And man, just a month or two later, they're like, or maybe immediately later, they're like, yeah, we got some shows if you want to be on them. And they just put us on shows, which was says a lot about those guys. Yeah, how cool is that? Like so we just approached in that. So I think that must have been and then we got on BYO Records. So maybe I'm not sure how we got on that compilation because it was a couple years later.
Man,
I don't know if that's the story though. You know what I mean? But the time frame's like 98 and that's a 2002.
yeah.
So somewhere in that. They're like, we're on BYO Records. Maybe they just said, you guys want to be on this comp? We're like, yeah, it's a good idea. Maybe someone will hear us, like, and you heard it. Probably some other people heard it.
That's okay. So in BYO, yeah, that's pretty cool. And that sounds like it's crazy. Yeah, ethic too, going in, just knock it in every tour bus.
Dude, because
That's
those
like,
buses are all there. It's early in the morning. Pop, pop, pop. Hey, man. They're like, what? Yeah, it was so cool, man. And Ken got me into and I didn't know Ken, I know him as well as I know you, not at all at the time. And he got me into a Red Sox game. I think they clinched the playoff that day. I think they were already gonna clinch it, but yeah, it was just cool. It was just they were really cool. I'll never forget that kind of stuff. Because when people just random acts of kindness, they didn't have to go out of their way to do that. And the tour was already booked, but they squeezed us on some shows, and it was super cool.
fucking A, that is awesome. Yeah, and I do remember that too. I feel like so I'm in Phoenix, and I think I saw you guys, and I was Did you guys tour with Reverend? It might have been Reverend Horton. I don't know, but I remember your band was, like you said, kind of chaotic and stuff though. But it was so fucking new. Like when I saw you guys, it must have been 2003. Because I remember I got this comp, so it had been 2003 because I wanted to see you. So I went because of that lineup. I feel like it was Reverend Horton. I can't remember, but I remember your
Yeah.
band standing out.
By that time, like I had got sober in 1997, so and we were playing a lot, man. And so we were firing on all cylinders, like all sick. We were playing so many shows. We were touring, van touring, like
Mhm.
most a year for a few years for sure. And so we were really tight. And the washboard player, you asked me about him, like back, then I was just making the band. I would just go off my intuition. I met this guy. He had just moved from England. He was English. He is English still, actually. And I'm like, dude, you're rad. I'm making a band. You want to be in it? Do you play anything? He's like, yeah, yeah, Sean, I play accordion. I'm like, all right, well, then you'll be the accordion player. So he shows up. We're just having our first practice. And he'd had like two lessons, dude. And he had this, I'm like, wow. I go, huh? Do you play anything else? He goes, huh? I play the scrub board. I used to play with my, his great aunt or something like in England, skiffle and stuff. I'm like, all right, then you'll be the washboard player. That sounds cool, So that's how that happened.
Yeah, and it's great because again, it's something you don't see, especially at that time, like that mix of genre and fucking band was just very, very profound. Now that's where I want to ask you too, though. So next, like I would use these comps because there's no Spotify and shit back then, so you'd have this whole inlay on like what albums they're on and stuff. So I kind of used it as like a shopping list to get this record. But dude, this record was hard as hell to get the second
Oh man,
place.
that one is like, do you want me to tell you about that record or not? I interrupted. I apologize.
No, I kind of want to ask because I mean maybe it's just a me thing, but I felt like I would ask stores like, "Hey, they don't have it. Can you order it?" And they couldn't order it. It was very difficult for me to get second place.
That that one was like we'd already kind of imploded, even though we still play, but we'd burned and so that record is we were making this record before we got on a label, right? We were overdoing it, like when a band tries just to make a perfect record, and uh and we gave most of those songs. Plus, there's a lot of outtakes and just singles and stuff on it, and maybe a couple unreleased songs to BYO. At the time, we gave them the ones that, and they're like, it's cool, man. It doesn't really sound like you guys. We want you to make the record, but this doesn't sound like you guys or whatever. So that was sitting around. And so we got Tim Kerr from the Big Boys, Austin, Texas, legendary, punk band from the early 80s. And possibly the first skate deck. It was either them or JFA. I think it was them to produce it. But he's really a garage rock guy, and he's not even a producer, so which is rad. Tim just comes in. He's like, "Yeah, man. Hey, man. By the time we record this thing, it'll have practically mixed itself. If you hear something, you want to woo, yell out, woo, whatever you want to do, And so we just made this. The first record, Desert Shores,
Mhm.
that's on BYO. That was just it was almost just a live record, you know what I mean? And I think BYO gave us, I don't know if they gave us 5,000 or $3,000 to make the record. And so we just spent like $500 and split the money up. And then they were like, "Oh, yeah, it's cool, I guess." I think they liked it, but people liked the record. So, but it was really just kind of, I mean, because we'd already tried to make a slick record. So I go, I guess they want a raw record. And but that record you're talking about, dude, I get so sidetracked, was the original one that never came out. And then, like, there's a Link Ray song on there, I think. I'm so proud. And there's just a bunch of different cuts, on there. But
Yeah.
I was kind of bummed because when that label put it out after the fact, they kind of made it look like it was a new record. And I was like, oh, dude, it's misleading. It's the same, a lot of the same songs, but whatever, you know. I don't know that anyone even cares, but I just didn't want to mislead anybody with like, this is our new record when it's just a bunch of old demos.
Yeah, so that was kind of the thing. So what kind of to that point is the version that's on the 2002 comp of throw a bag of glue is from this record, but all I could find was Desert Shores, which there's no bad version of the song, but it was a different version.
Totally.
And I wanted the one that was on second place. You also got it with Space Hunt Me as well. Like I mean, there's again no bad throw rag, but for sure second place is just better. Like it's such a fucking great album, and it was
Oh,
so
I
hard
love
to
that
get.
you like second place better, man, because I don't listen to my own music really. I make it, then I'll listen to it. Like I was on tour with another band in Australia like 10 years ago, and Throw Rag was on, and I didn't know who it was. I was like, man, I know this band, man. You know what I mean? Because it was it must have been songs we didn't always play on one of those. I was like, man, I know all these songs. I'm like, what? This is my band. I'm so dumb, man.
That's
So
fucking
you
funny.
like second place better than the Desert Shores?
I do, and I just
That's awesome.
because my gateway to you was Bag of Glue, and that's the version that's on second place. It was hard to get.
Ah, okay.
It was like chasing, like it was so hard to get. So finally I got it. And also, first of all, the album cover too, dude. Like, if, and I don't make an imprint on it. Let me ask you about that briefly too. It says second place. It's got Mexico, a zebra there. You got an Aztec temple. It looks like. Who came up with the artwork? And
I think I might have conceptualized it, and then AJ King Taco, the rhythm guitar player for a while, he was a graphic artist way back then, so he was really good at like creating things and you know what I mean, like that, and also the first album, which was T-Tot, uh, he did the artwork for, and he actually created the logo, the Skull and Anchor logo, uh, from Desert Shores. Yeah, I'm so dumb that you got me thinking about it. He did all the artwork for all the records.
okay,
He's so cool. Yeah, so you know, when we put out the first one with the Skull and Anchor, you know, or the second one, I guess, actually, Desert Shores, um, we were gonna do something like that, Donkeys, or you know, something kind of like. And then our friend Eddie from the Super Suckers was like, dude, you got that Skull and Anchor. It's like that logo is so strong. It's like the Motorhead has a logo. You guys are blowing it if you don't use the logo. You're thinking too much about it. Don't make it so, you know, we took his advice. I guess I agree with him. I like that logo, you know, but at the time there weren't as many, you know, Skull and Anchors hadn't, they've, you know, it's a good logo.
especially where your band's from, right? Being that Desert Shores, that like Captain, I think it fucking makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I do totally.
Okay, and then the second place was that. Well, and so let me ask you this too. So it sounds like I might have it right. Was this supposed to be the second record, but it looks like it's the third? Well, I guess, and second
You know
place.
what?
Yeah.
Maybe because I had found a medallion, you know, it might even be on the record. I don't know, a medallion that says second place somewhere, and I was like, that's so rad, dude. So maybe we were gonna call it second place. I don't remember originally the second record. I just don't remember, or maybe not. I don't really remember. I just remember I found this medal because second place is a rough thing. It's like, man, you did really good, but you're still a loser. You know what I mean? Which feels pretty like, yeah, it makes sense to me, you know.
Yeah, it's the what is it from Ricky Bobby? You're the first
He
loser.
said, if you ain't first, you're last. Oh, hell, Ricky, I was high when I said that. I mean, that doesn't make any sense at all. You first, you're last. You can be second.
Yeah, total Ricky Bobby, dude. Man, I love Ricky.
Love it. So I am gonna. What I do here is I do this thing where I will read the lyrics awkwardly back to you and kind of break it down to see what maybe you were writing about, thinking. Before I do that, I did have a couple questions on there because I mean, yeah, this also Space Hunt Me, such a fucking great song, dude. But what was the question I had? Oh, there's a skit in here, and I'm curious just where it comes from because you guys don't really write about it called Johnny Big Nuts It's about a girl dancing under a table. Where'd that come from? And like, where?
Oh man, that was Jacko, the washboard player. He was just going on about something, and I guess that was it. I vaguely remember it, and yeah, I just think he's like me. He's a little hyperactive and ADD, so I think he would just, you know, having fun.
Okay.
I don't think it was anything that was thought out beyond just the moment.
Okay. It's really funny too because I'm curious. And do you remember where that skit came from? Like where you guys stole it from, or not stole, but
I don't even
I
remember
dance
this.
on the table,
Uh,
around the table.
Around the table, yeah. How about underneath the table?
That'd be kind of weird.
That would be kind of weird, but for an extra few bucks, I imagine
Sure,
the customers
The
would.
record and since it came out.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you
Like
should listen to
I
it,
don't
dude.
ever listen to the records. I looked up the words because I was like, what? Because we're talking about them, But
Yeah.
actually, that Space Hunt Me was the one the Humpers inspired. That was our first kind of, you know, take me, erase my memory. The Humpers have so many of those kind of great choruses. That band, the Humpers, that was totally inspirational. Space Hunt Me, that was like a also thinking of the Humpers. But we're not talking about that song. We're talking about Bag of Glue.
Yeah, we touched on it because it's and same thing too. I think Space Help Me on this album is it's just it's different, but it's just I just love this album so much, man. And yeah, that song sticks out too. And then also, and I think maybe it's just like a Southwest thing. I'm here in Arizona, so I kind of get it. A lot of like Spanish titles in here and stuff. Where'd that influence kind of come from?
Yeah, California's got a lot of, it's just part of what we're about. You know what I mean? So,
Okay.
yeah, I, I guess that's where it came from.
Love it, love it. Yeah, so then I'm gonna ask you, I'll start reading it here, but okay, so now first though, let's go time travel a little bit. What was the writing process for Bag of Glue the most you can remember? Do you guys do the music first, get the melody, or do you have lyrics already kind of written out? What's your style of writing?
Bag of Glue, I wrote with my friend Dan. Scorcho was his throw rag handle that we've been playing in bands out in the desert forever. So I don't know if I would write the words first and then he'd play a riff, or it could go either way. I'm sure he could go, yeah, I got this riff and I just write to it, or I'd already have the words and he'd write to it. But so it was one or the other for sure. I mean, the beginning of Bag of Glue, does it have the na 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 in it?
Yeah, I think it starts
That's
off
sort of a
going
Sex Pistol.
into
I think that's sort of a Sex Pistol rip off that intro. Uh, I could be wrong, but um, yeah. So, anyways, I'm forgetting what we're talking about. Bag of Glue, right?
so
Yeah, I don't know. The
music
process
first
is
or
either
lyrics?
or. There's no one way.
Just how it evolves, it comes out. Okay.
Yeah.
And do you know like how fast the lyrics would have been written? Like, is it something to where like you do you write like in like one kind of
That one I feel like I was pretty quick.
okay.
Sometimes, dude, I'll be driving. A lot of times, if I'm driving and there's no radio on or anything, about an hour into a drive, I'll start hearing songs. And you know, so sometimes there'll already be a chorus or something. I'll already hear something, you know what I mean? And then I'll da, 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 and then I'll start singing, and then a guitar player will start figuring out what I'm trying to sing, and go along with it. But yeah.
Great. Okay,
Dude, every time I answer a question, I forget the question I'm answering.
yeah. It's all
This is
good.
what
That's
happens when
fine.
you get old punkers on the show. They're like, what are we talking about?
Yeah, no, it's what we want. All right, and then yeah, let's get this before I start reading the lyrics and find out what it's about. Let me ask you the rumor mill first, of what it's about. So the rumor of what this song was, I remember even like at 14 years old, my friends tell me if you go online, people say it. They say the song's about being in a K-hole, being kind of like a bag loose stuck, can't get in or out. Okay, so what inspired you the lyrics and what is the lyrics about?
Hey, wait. Being in a what? A K-hole?
A K-hole, yeah, like special K, like stuck, like yeah. I
Oh, you know what? Well,
don't.
close, I guess, but no, not like being paralyzed, like in some kind of. I never did Special K, but that's interesting.
Okay.
It is about like drug addiction, though, because I was a dope fiend for years, and But when I wrote it, I was already sober. I'll be sober 29 years on the 15th. So for me, that's a good thing.
Okay.
I don't preach it to no one. But so the song is just about like, this endless loop of addiction. It's not really that, it's that's what it's about. You
Okay.
know, took blue, took yellow, took a perma tear. So blue, you're overdosed on the floor. Yellow's hepatitis, perma tears, teardrop tattoos, and uh, ran up, ran down, speed, heroin, ran around, around, just constantly running around with your head cut off. Ran over, ran under from town to town, got up, got down, got sick, got well, being strung out on, especially on heroin. You're always sick, trying to get well. So, I had this other song. Uh, I had this acoustic duo with Xander Sloss from the Circle Jerks and the Weirdos, and he played Joe Strummer. And we
Hmm.
had this song, Solo She Rose. And at this point, that song's more like abstract, but it's kind of about the same thing. And the Slackers, they love that song. They had one of the first demos. So they were all having this conversation. Man, what do you think it's about? And they had all these beautiful ideas. And when I told them, oh, it's just about being strung out on heroin, they were so bummed, you know what I mean? So I was like, I'm not going to tell people no more what songs are about because I think their ideas are better, possibly. You know what I mean? Especially when it's something just like as typical as oh, it's just about being a drug addict. Oh, that sucks, you know.
No, I
But
love it though. That's why I do this is you find out that's what's so crazy about music. What it means to other people can be completely not what it was, written to.
totally,
Yeah.
it's totally beautiful. I love it. Yeah, I love it. I love music and stuff like that so much.
Yeah, thanks, man. Okay, and then what was I gonna add? Well, so let me get into you pretty much just read the lyrics, but yeah,
I know. I keep ruining your thing, dude. I got you. I'm an agent of chaos, right?
you're all good, all good. It's not much. So yeah, let me jump in here. You kind of answered some of it, but I'll break it down like stanza or line by line. So I mean, the first bit, yeah. So um, it starts right off with yeah, ran up, ran down, ran around and around, ran over, ran under from town to town. Is that kind of about tour life, or what? What does that part mean?
No, man, it's just about like running around in circles. You know what I mean? But even like the thing about it, man, I used to think like, because I'm going to be 60, right? So, and I started going to punk shows when I was 14 in 81. So, Starwood was my first show at the last, anyways, and so as a part, we go to Hollywood and go to all these punk shows as little kids. And, a lot of these kids at the time, but not all of them, were kind of like, I have this conversation with a lot of guys my age. Uh, we didn't, we, and especially in the late 70s, I guess they called us, we didn't have, no one was paying attention to it. The kids are just doing whatever they want. We didn't have no curfews, we didn't have no rules. And so a lot of us, when we found punk rock, like we found our place in it. And a lot of us were from broken homes and weird situations. So a lot of us ended up, you know, partying way too early and then on drugs, but not all of us. I used to think that was the experience, and it's completely not true because we'd be listening to like Minor Threat and all those singles, the 45s when they were coming out. I guess they might have been, I mean, all the first stuff, SOA, Minor Threat, and even if they were singing about straight edge, we loved the music, but the message was lost. We're 14 drinking, quarts of Budweiser. Woo, this is rad, dude. You know, but I don't know what the point is, man. I think the point is a lot of people, at least early on in the punk scene, that I knew, they just ended up, alcoholics and drug addicts, but not all of them, So that's that's what I'm talking about in the song, you know what I mean? And that's the history of it, you know what I mean? It's not just like it wasn't just a good idea, but we were just little kids, like in life it was crazy, man. It was really crazy back then. I mean, it was like the cops would beat the shit. Everyone would beat you up if you were a punker. They didn't care. They were you. you know what I mean? You were just a target. Like adults would pull over in work trucks and want to, and want to kick your ass. And, it was kind of I guess it was, I don't know if it was a different time, but it seemed like it was a different time.
Yeah, it sounds like it
So
was gnarly, like
it
there was
was
also
gnarly,
gangs,
dude.
right? Like there was the suicidals and like punk gangs, right?
Yeah, I
Like
was around all those gangs. That was the era. I had a little punk band from the desert here called Mutual Hatred, and we were all 14 and 13, and we played our first show in LA with Suicidal Tendencies, and they had a little place called Suicide Hall, and they only had, it was just a gang. It was before they had records, and it was just a hand-drawn Rick Clayton shirts you see on the back of the album. I got the flyers killer, man. It was Suicidal Tendencies, Sin 34, Mutual Hatred. It was either $3 or $5 to get in. But it was they were cool, man. I mean, everyone was just, the gangs were just starting, and that I'm not it was it became a bigger bummer than it was, but it was a bummer. It was violent, Circle One, the lads, suicidal tendencies. And it seemed like each gang had like a figurehead that would either be the like the Braveheart of the gang, you know what I mean? And then the rest of the rascals running around with them. So, but everyone shared all the common space. But,
yeah.
anyways, once
Uh,
again, we've gone everywhere but to where you want to go with that, huh?
good. Because I want to ask that. That's what you were talking about your first show, 14. What was your first punk show?
My first punk show was Fear, the Chiefs, and the OZ Hares. And I was at a club called the Starwood, and it was the last night the Starwood was open. Someone got stabbed, and that was it. And then we went over to Okie Dogs like you would do, and it was just like that. And it was killer. I was so scared, dude, because it would be like, to me, it was like imagining going to prison or something the first time I go into this punk show, and oh my God, and my brain is so like visual, and but I mean, it wasn't scary, it was scary, but it wasn't scary. It was awesome. You look at the old pictures too, and it's just a lot of dudes with sweatshirts and feathered hair and stuff. There's some punkers, but
Yeah.
it, but the brain made it like it was. I mean, there was violence, yeah, but that was, yeah, Fear. I have the song sheet from it still, which is crazy, here in my bedroom. Um, yeah, anyways, the Chiefs, if no one's heard of the Chiefs, they got a reissued album called is either Hollywood Crisis or Holly West Crisis. The Chiefs were amazing, man. I totally recommend you checking out the Chiefs. They were from that era, and they ruled. And yeah.
Fucking A.
But
And so,
my first show was Devo. Went in junior high, and Freedom of Choice had just come out, and this girl's aunt brought us all to see him, and they were still playing Devo movies, and they had like I don't know if you remember any of the old Devo film. You'll see this guy with the orange spiked hair doing flips and stuff. His name was Spaz Attack, and he was there. So that was really awesome. That was like 1979, I guess. Devo was, because punk rock for us, like, became, out of being from skateboard culture. You're like, you're in elementary school skateboarding in swimming pools with older kids, and they're playing rock and roll on the A tracks. And then the skaters quickly got into new wave, whatever that is, the Cars and Blondie and the Pretenders, and then Sex Pistols, and what I mean, and then became punks. A lot of the punks a lot of the punks I know in California came out of the skate scene. That was like we first started really seeing guys. I mean, but we had the older guys from the 70s, of course, the Weirdos and X, and they were probably bumming like, oh man, these new guys are lame, they're violent, and they're totally getting it wrong, and they're just their bands all suck, or who knows what those guys were thinking, you know what I mean? When it started getting like loud and thrashy, but anyways, it's my generation. What can I do?
fucking hey, man, that's awesome. I have a question on that. You kind of touched on too, rumor mill. Now I'm getting distracted, but I just wanted to, while I was thinking of it, because it was here. So, true or untrue, the logo for the circle jerks, the that spaz kit was someone said it was you. Is that
It's
you?
that is, I should say it's true just to like, but it's untrue, you know. But it did look like me when I was a kid for sure. But maybe it looked like a lot of kids. That was from an artist named Sean Carey. She's amazing. I
Mhm.
don't know if she's still alive. I don't know what happened. She got some kind of disease or something, but she was a super important kind of late 70s, early 80s artist in the California punk scene. She did great art, Sean Carey.
Okay, cool, cool. So have you gotten that before? It's written on, you go online, people will say I credited it to you, but it's uncertain.
Yeah, I guess I have got that before. I don't think I started that rumor. At one time, I had told the Riverboat Gamblers that I was Crispin Glover's brother, I think, and then and I didn't think, and they believed it, so they're telling everybody, and then I let that go for a while, but I think I must have finally told them I'm not. You know what I mean?
That's
Be
what's funny.
careful what you got to be careful what you say, man. People believe it, you know.
I mean, that's just what I think also goes with Throw Rag. What I loved about it was like when I see you in the show too, it's like you guys had such like a freedom, like meaning like fun. Like you're a fucking fun band. And that freedom of it was very, very nice. Like so going back to the comp, that's what you notice. There's like a lot of like breakup songs and some serious songs, some pissed off ones. And then you get Throw Rag where it's like this country fucking punk and like a middle finger of just like we're gonna have fun. Um that's why I
Totally, dude. Because I'd already put in my time suffering. You know what I mean? It's just like I've been punk from 14 to 31 or 2 at that point. You know, so we're and punk is like punk is depending on who you ask. It's a lot of things, man. But it's definitely a spirit. You know what I mean? It's like a spirit, and you feel it. Like that's why you can be like cruising around going, oh, that's totally punk. You'll see something and think, oh, check out that squirrel, he's punk, or whatever. But for me, I mean, it's more than just music. I mean, or it's just I don't know. That's a word you can use a lot of ways, but totally, dude. Throw Rag's a total punk band. I mean, most of those guys in the band we're all the same age, and they all grew up playing in little punk bands and stuff. Everybody had a punk band when they were kids. That's what was so great about punk rock. For if you didn't know how to play, it didn't matter. Like when we put Mutual Hatred together, we'd stole a drum set from first we had like trash can and a no skateboarding sign for a cymbal, and like maybe we had a snare and that was it. Then we broke into this church and got a bass drum, you know what I mean? And when I remember when the bass player, it always seemed like, oh, you don't have to really know how to do anything to play bass. So you just do, 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 do. And we're like looking in the music store, like little kids like, dude, that one's rad. It was always about the color. It was never about, you got to either get the black one or the maroon one. That's super rad, dude, if you like, you could do a whole nother podcast on just older punkers or maybe not just older ones, who ruined beautiful vintage gear by painting it black. You know what I mean? Like 66 Ludwig drum sets. Oh man, this thing's stupid. We got to get some paint. Let's fix it. And just so bad, dude. That's so funny to me.
that's funny. And how
Your
gnarly
interview's gone off the rails, huh? We're all over the place.
I love it. How gnarly you stole from a church, dude. That's so funny. Like, fuck it. Yeah.
Hey, I love that shirt, dude. I just saw the rest in peace, Shane MacGowan, man, the great poet, but man, one of my favorites of all time, favorite singer. That's a thing, man. When you get a singer like Shane MacGowan, like there's the special ones, and man, you just feel it in your heart and your whole. You know what I mean? It's like we're talking about punk being a spirit, and that's why when the Pogues got together, that one record was getting these reviews like, man, it's like it's not punk, but it's definitely punk. You know what I mean? And anyways, I just was in New Zealand touring, and the Pogues were playing in I think I was in Wellington, and someone told me in this museum. I was walking around some museum, and this couple, we started talking. They're like, "Oh, we're here to see." I go, "The Pogues are playing." I'm like, "Who do I know that that night is sold out?" So I wrote Spider Stacy on Instagram. We're not friends, right? So it goes to the box where I added him as a friend, and I wrote him. I go, "Dude, Spider, I'm in town playing a show. You don't know me, but I did open up for you guys 3 different times, in California. Anyways, is there any possibility you could put me on the guest list?" And dude, he wrote back. He wrote back. He's like, "No problem, mate. You're on +1 with a little clover." I was, how rad is that, dude? You know what I
Fuck
mean?
yeah,
Like,
dude.
he doesn't know me from Adam, and it was beautiful, man. I mean, of course, Shane's missed, but Shane, they did it was a beautiful tribute with like a 13-piece band and different singers from that he's found and a horn section. It was cool, man. It was anyways.
That's dope as fuck, man. Yeah, I
I
love
had
that.
my glasses on, and I saw your shirt. I'm like, because if I'm in the wrong state of mind, if I'm like not on the beam, as we say,
Mhm.
I can look at things and go like a lot of folks, man. I can go. I used to say it. I used to say, I'll take the Shane MacGowan and the Popes over anything called the Pogues without Shane MacGowan because I just love Shane. But then I can look at it and go, man, these guys were a group and they came up together. They had a beautiful poet and frontman Shane who also made it very difficult, I'm sure, to have a band, because Shane was just Shane, and 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 they deserve to play too and play those songs because it's their songs also. So I like having that perspective, and just seeing it as a, you know, you know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, no,
You know,
absolutely. It's like all the different perspectives feels too exactly, man. And yeah, Shane, it's what made him who he was, but it's also it was
yeah, they weren't trying to replace Shane. They didn't go get another Shane. And what they did too is they got the couple they got this woman from I think Edinburgh and another lady from like County Cork and this other young kind of Irish folk singer. So they got these different singers that I guess are in their 30s, 40s. And so they shared the vocal duties. Spider sang a lot, but maybe only 30%. And then they got different. And it was really, really cool, So they were clearly, just presenting the song in a beautiful way and not trying to be anything but the Pogues playing the Pogue songs. And of course, anyways, you know what I'm saying, man. You
yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah. Kind of weird connection there. I was just thinking about. You said Xander, who you worked with as well. He worked with Joe Strummer. Joe Strummer stood in for Shane for a little bit too on the Pogue.
Totally. And then Xander was also in that movie Straight to Hell with all those guys. There's that
Oh,
I don't know if you've seen that movie. It's
it's
the
like
same guy did Repo Man and Sid and Nancy, Alex Cox movie.
yeah,
And they're all in wherever they filmed those Italian westerns, the spaghetti westerns.
getting
But
Western.
yeah. So he's in that movie with those guys.
Yeah.
We're talking about everything, but this. But I threw you off, I do. We're supposed to go through the lyrics like one by one or what?
Yeah, that's the idea. Yeah. I'll get back to it. How are you on time, by the way, man?
What happened?
How are you on time?
I'm good, dude.
Okay.
That's the problem with people interviewing me. They're like, "Geez, I got 4 hours now." You know what I mean? I'm gonna have to edit. I'm gonna have to edit this thing a lot.
No, I think it's everything that I need. It's what throw rag is too. Like again, going back to the lyrics here is this nice segue, kind of what we talked about. Where your band's so fun and everything, we take something now that I hear it's like about, getting sober and drug addiction, and it's a fucking fun song, but you're singing about something pretty heavy, right?
Yeah.
And so I'll get into that. So the next bit I think kind of does speak for itself, but you tell me. So then the next one goes got up, got down, got sick, got well, got over, got under, got a self-serve hell.
That's exactly it.
Okay. And so is that like then with this drug addiction, is it like battling through dope sickness then? Or I guess what is that?
Yeah, I mean, the thing about, at least I think for most drug addicts, I'll speak for myself, is like, so going back to being kids, like, so a lot of us were like broken somehow, at least a lot of the guys I know, not all of us, a lot of, in the scene, I got to be clear on that, but a bunch of us were just broken kids. So we found that community and that worked, and then we're partying, and now we're like, and then eventually you're just this drug addict. You're not even any of the things you loved anymore. And then and that works for a little while with whatever's broken, and then that just quits working. And now you're just a dope fiend, It's just like you're just using drugs just to not be physically sick, which is like, I remember when that happened, and I remember like, God, what's the point? Like I should have already known that, but as long as they gave me, as long as they shut my head off and gave me that relief, I guess I used to look at it as relief. And now when I think about it, I go straight. I just think of it as pain. So I'm really happy my brain is switched. So when I'm having a hard day or a boo-hoo me, like I don't think, oh man, it would be okay this one time to get some relief. I'm like, oh, forget that, man. All there is pain and hell, coming with that. That's not even an option, So I don't know if I answered the question or not, but
I
yeah,
got you right
I
there.
got sick out well. I got a self-serve hell. Yeah, exactly. That's where you end up. Just
Yeah.
just self-serve hell. It's fucking sucks. It totally. I mean, who knows, man? Maybe somebody, might have killed themselves and found drugs and it bought them some time and then they came through it and I don't know, but maybe there's a positive side to it, but. I
Yeah.
guess I mean, I don't know. All I know is I'm stoked. Ew, I love life, man. I always love life and people and music, though, man. It's funny that the thing I turned to for peace stole everything I loved, stole everything I love, bro. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's a fucking bummer, dude. I mean, I think drugs are rad if you can, if you can use them like, if you're the kind of guy who can drink and use and have fun and still go about your business and not hurt people, that's cool. You know what I mean? I'm not
Yeah.
a, I'm not, it just wasn't my case. I tried, trust me.
Well, I imagine it's hard as fuck, It's like it's
I
for most,
mean, it's just that personality, that whatever it is. Yeah.
yeah.
So that's the self-serve hell. So we've got halfway through the song, right?
Yeah, man.
I'm
And
stuck in a bag of glue. Say what? Who the fuck are you? I'm stuck in a bag of glue. Say what? Is it the same thing? Who the fuck are you?
that was exactly it. I don't need to read it now.
God,
Yeah.
is that riff a Pistols riff or is it the na 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 na? Na? They probably stole from Eddie Cochran, you know what I mean? Anyways, but
So you were
I,
you were
yeah,
inspired by the Pistols? Were you listening to a lot of Pistols when you wrote the song?
nah, not at all, man. But I think but I did love the Sex Pistols, of course, man. When I first got that record, I was like, wow, this is, and the fantasy, like you're looking at pictures back then, and you're just like, wow, this is crazy, man. This punk thing is crazy. Like look at these guys, man. Like it really felt like when I was a little kid, like if I was to be a punker, which I was like you were like a fish. For me, it was like I'm officially not trying anymore and giving up. I tried to be normal since I was little, and I was never felt like everyone liked me, but I never felt like I fit in. It just was something was broken, and I was like, "Fuck it, man!" It was like I'm a punker, man. It was just like the ultimate fuck it. Like, I that was my experience in it. And as a little boy, but you know.
Yeah.
And you'd have to talk to other old punkers. I talk to guys all the time about this that are my age, and they're like, and it's this. It's the same story. I've already said that, but for us, it was and it wasn't like I didn't hate the jocks. Like I played sports. I like sports. I don't like coaches. I don't like authority. That was my problem, you know what I mean? But I liked playing sports as a little kid. But when there was authority, I definitely had a problem with that being told what to do, you know, which was part of my problem. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, all right,
I find
all
that like
right,
such a
so,
common
huh?
space too, is that like for so many people, like for me, even getting into punk was partially because I was like a misfit, I didn't really blend in. It's not that I didn't like them, it's just punk was this like nice place where it was like a freedom to where you can be yourself fully. And that's what I find, especially on this fucking rest. So one, when you listen to the comp again, you get throw rag and you do hear like you have your own sound, you're doing whatever the fuck you want to do. And then it's kind of funny that you mentioned maybe I don't want to overspeak here, but like even being on bio and how the release to second place came out, it's you did this record on your own terms, like how you wanted it to be, which again just feels like throw rag to me, man. Like
Oh, that's cool. The first record, I don't know if you ever heard T-Tot. That was the very first record, but I think that's even just as hard to find if you don't have it. I don't think it. Oh, you know what, man? The guy that put out that record, second place,
Mhm.
reissued T-Tot. But T-Tot was way more country punk, and with the upright bass. And that one, yeah. Anyways, Desert Shores is when it started getting more punk and roll, I would say. But T-Tot, we played this thing in Vegas called the Las Vegas Shakedown with all these great bands, and we met some people from Australia. They're like, man, we'd love to we were handing out demos at T-Tot. We want to put your record out on that. We go, that'd be rad. Man, like years later, we found out they just bootlegged it on a label called Stolen Records, and there's like a gatefold vinyl. I got one. I was stoked. I'm like, oh man, I didn't know they were gonna just literally put it out. You know what I mean? And never tell us about it and call it Stolen Records. But it's fucking funny.
Come on, give you some royalties. No, just
Yeah, dude. Good luck.
that's funny, dude. All right, so then the last bit of the song, yeah, pushed in, pushed out, pushed a tired heart, threw up, threw down, threw 1,000 darts, took mine, took yours, took 1,000 years, and then like you said, here's the pill. Took blue, took yellow, took a heart,
Permatear.
here, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, 1,000 darts would just be me fixing drugs all the time, shooting dope, shooting speed, shooting anything I could dissolve since I'm, 14 or 15 till 30. And then took blue, yeah, overdosing blue all the time. Yellow, hepatitis C, I survived it luckily. Uh took a permatear, yeah, and I got the tear tattoo and turned it into an anchor so we wouldn't have to talk about it so much. And then yeah. Dwayne Peters
US
went on a
Paul?
rant. He went on a rant once. He's like, "Yeah, I had the anchor before sleazo. That's what they call me, sleazo in Orange. And before this, I was the first." But God bless him. So what was the beginning of those lines? Like ran
Pushed
up,
in,
ran down, no.
pushed in, pushed out, and pushed
Oh
a
yeah, put your
tired heart.
tired heart. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's just more of the same, man. Just fiction, just fixing. Like pushed in, pushed out, put your tired heart. Yeah. Threw up, threw down, threw 1,000 darts. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Exactly. It's exactly as it sounds now that it's not so now that it's completely obvious, right? Uh
Yeah.
then what? Then what happens after that? What's it say?
I took mine and took yours. Took 1,000 years.
Yeah, even though I like to think of myself as not being a thief, like upon inventories, I was one of those guys. I don't steal from my friends or my mom. I'm not a thief, but meanwhile, I stole my first drum set from the church. There's the more I looked at it, I actually sent that church like 4 years ago. This is a long time, man. This is like 14 to Dude, this is like 40 years later or more. I sent him $100 anonymously to the church. Yeah, just and my friend was like, "You don't have to do that." I go, "You know what? If I'm thinking about it and I did something, I want to make up for it. So it's no big deal. Is that funny?" And I tried going to the boys club and giving them some money because I ripped off. I would just steal everything when I was a little kid. The boys club had these like, I'm in the desert. They had this like scuba gear, like these like, what I mean? I just walked out the door with all of it and ran home, you know what I mean? So I went in there to give him some cash one morning around the same time, and it was some guy working, and he looked at me. He's like, maybe he thought I was some kind of like, I don't know what he thought, a transient dude. And I'm like, hey, can you give this $100 to whoever's running the place? And he's like, hey man, you got to come back later. So I never paid the boys club back, but maybe I will since we're talking about it. I don't know.
That's
But
cool.
yeah, took mine, took yours. You know what I mean? Took
Mhm.
a took 1,000 years. Yeah, I guess that just sounds good. Yeah, just like forever. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's funny, dude. Dude, I'm
So
playing with the Slackers on tomorrow. Is today Thursday?
fuck.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm so
yeah, these
in
things
the
like
desert. The first time out here in the desert. I mean, I love that band. They're so great.
slackers, yeah, man.
They're not on that comp, are they?
Yeah, I don't think so. No, no. I'll just
They
double
were
check.
probably on. Was Give 'Em the Boot coming out around the same time?
Yeah.
I met the Slackers on that tour with Rancid. That's where I met Vic Ruggiero, was playing with Rancid on that tour,
Okay.
and we became friends. Like we've been. God, life is so weird, right? Because that's already been 2002 is a while back. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Let
It
me. I
time
don't know.
flies, dude.
I apologize if you did answer it, but let me just make sure too. So when that, do you remember like how so side one Dummies the one that put out the comp? Do you know how you got that song? Like did they ask you, hey, do you have a song to submit? Or like how does that go?
You know what? If it was 2002, 98, maybe we had done some shows and then they asked us because at that point, I don't know if it was through BYO because we did a little portion of the Warp Tour. Maybe it was 2001, and it was like, because I remember there were some other bands kind of similar to Throw Right that didn't exactly fit, on the Warp Tour. And it was us, the Riverboat Gamblers, Valiant Thor, and there was another band. So we were like the kids at the one, bench together eating, you know what I mean? Like, it's funny to say that. But they must have just hit us up. I don't even remember, to be honest with you. I don't know if it was through the Stern Brothers or if it was through, just the Warp Tour itself. Joe Sib was side one. So,
Mhm.
yeah, I don't know if Joe Sib's, yeah, I don't know. Could have been any. It's funny, man, because I still talk to most of those people, you know what I mean? Which is cool.
Yeah,
Life's pretty cool, man. Hey, a life in punk rock's not bad. It's pretty cool.
that's awesome. It sounds like you're like the punk rock band of punk rock, dude.
I don't know about that, dude. I'm in all cut, but it's what I mean. You have these lifelong friends, and it's amazing, man. Life's pretty cool,
Well,
especially if you love music like you do, obviously, and I do. I there's so many killer bands. It's so rad.
yeah, and that's why I do this. I wanted to get more into. I grew up listening to so much of this music, and it shaped me. And like I'm like, I eventually you want to figure out what was your meaning behind it. And I think it's fucking dope as hell. No pun intended. That it was about fucking basically drug addiction, and it's a fun, positive, uplifting, like feel good fucking song. Um, so how many years sober were you then? And when Bad Blue came out?
I got sober May 15th, 1997. So
Okay.
was it almost 5 years? I don't know when it came out. Probably that summer. It probably came out. Yeah, that would make sense. So I guess, and I say 8, 99, 2000. I guess 5 years.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, may I ask you too? If it's too personal, it's fine. But what do you remember? Like, was there like a moment that did make you want to be sober?
Dude, there were a lot of moments, but going back to that thing, man, where man, I tried, dude, I was trying for at least 10 years, because it was, dude, I don't drink good, dude. When I drink, always since I'm a kid, and I've been drinking since I'm little, 12, 13, 11, whatever. I have a few beers. I'm like a blackout drinker, and it's like a blah, 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 blah. I don't give a fuck, dude. And then, oh no, you wake up and you're like, uh-oh, I wonder what happened, and rinse and repeat. But what happened, man, was it just quit working. And what I mean by that was, you know, I tried and tried and tried, and I had my first son who's 36 now, and I went to a rehab when his mom was pregnant, and you know, and I kept falling back into it, man. And it was just I was like bad lieutenant, like Harvey Keitel. Ah, why? God, fuck you, God. How come I can't stay sober? Like I just
One out. Here's the 3-1 pitch. Ground ball to short. Could be two. Flip to second for one. Relay to first. It's a double play.
You cocksucker! You fucking miserable fucking...
I need you to help me. Forgive me. Forgive me. Forgive me, please. Forgive me, Father.
I just wasn't done, which sucks. You know what I mean? Because all the evidence was there that it was never going to be any better. but I kept going back to it for that relief I was talking about. And finally, man, I can tell you, man, I had this spot in Costa Mesa. I'd left my family and I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna die. I'm not even gonna try anymore. It was just, we had this little spot called the Golden Ghetto, and did a big shot of heroin, and I kind of went down in the nod, but my head didn't turn off. It was on. You're a shitty dad. You're a fucking scumbag. You're a loser. And I remember I popped up, and I was like, whoa! I give my whole life to this thing, and I thought the deal was you turn my head off for 3 4 hours, and then we go through the process again. And so all the peace had left, man. Going back to the song, I was just physically ill, but mentally, it wasn't turning my head off, dude. So it sucked, dude. And I'm a procrastinator, and I wouldn't say I'm lazy, but I might, I'm not the kind of guy that wants to get up in the morning early and go out and have to find a couple $100 every single day over and over and over. And, and that's what my life was. And it was horrible, man, for nothing. Meanwhile, there's no electricity. There's no, I'm fighting my chihuahua over half a Del Taco green burrito that someone had thrown away, wrestling in the kitchen. I wouldn't eat for a long time, and then I'd be struck with like starvation, basically. I gotta eat. His poor chihuahua, man. I took that burrito from it and ate it. It just, dude, it was none of the things that it just was not, it was not a happening situation. You know what I mean? And there's no, and trust me, dude, I was like, well, maybe I would try to get sober. Maybe I just smoke some weed on the. I don't even like weed. It's always got me paranoid and gives me the munchies and makes me tired. You know what I mean? But I smoked it since I'm like 10. Always. But I never liked it. I go, maybe I could just smoke some weed on the weekends. I would try, or maybe I could just do this, But the way my mental, spiritual, and physical state does not allow that. Like as soon as I have one thing, I'm not counting days, and I'm immediately blowing it, within a couple weeks max. You know what I mean? And so I can't dude, I used to beg my first wife, just let me have a beer. I swear I'll be good. Let me just have a beer. Watch. And I would be somewhere. She'd go, okay, man, you can have a beer. And I would take a sip, and I'd be looking around, and I would go, okay, I'm being good. You know what I mean? And I would have another sip. I'm still being cool. You know what I mean? And I was trying to really pay attention to each sip and and then all of a sudden, blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? It's like full monster gets released. And I could, so I tried very hard to hold on to it, and it failed me at all turns.
Yeah.
This is the easier. Hey, I drink caffeine, and so I smoke cigars, which I shouldn't, and so, I guess those are drugs,
Yeah.
Alexa, stop. Man, I am in hell with Alexa. Somebody put Cyndi Lauper as the alarm clock, and I don't know how to change it. And I've been having to listen to that Cyndi Lauper song. I should get it. I don't think about it though till it comes on for like 4 or 5 years, however long Alexa's been around listening, spying on my conversations with you.
Yeah.
Oh my God. At least it could be a tune I want to dance to or something, right?
Yeah, you just got to do it through the app. You go through the Alexa app, you can do it that way. But
I should say, I know. I just don't think about this until it comes on. I'm like, it's a good song though, because it makes me want to make it. I don't hate it, but I don't like it. That's for sure. I try not to hate.
Get up, yeah.
It makes me get up and want to turn off, quiet, stop.
All right, man. I know you guys ready, so let me just wrap up with a few other these questions too, dude. So that was one we were talking about earlier. So you went to your first punk show, scares the shit out of you. But what made you come back to punk? Like,
oh man, as soon as I got one done, we were having punk shows out here in the desert and stuff. And bands were coming out here and playing. Black Flag came out here and played before that when Dez was singing. So
no shit.
Before Henry, it was awesome. And there's probably 20 of us there, and half of us came from my mom's house. My mom's house was always like my mom's super cool, but she was just young and was, going back to like we didn't really have too many rules. All the kids would hang out there, and so we all just cruised over there and saw Black Flag. They were awesome. Uh, but that experience, like in my mind, when we were 14, going to LA, and to a real punk show with all the other punkers. But as soon as you got one done, that was it, man. Dude, I went, I think that very summer, that was June, probably a month later. I was just couch surfing in LA already, staying with these people, this girl from Sin 34, Julie, and then she transferred me over, and then they sent me over to Pico Rivera. And I was with John Macias from this band Circle One, and they're just the community was really cool back then. Like we'd be at Okie Dogs real late at night,
Mhm.
and and it was a gnarly time. And I was little, I hadn't sprouted yet, 14 or whatever. And they'd be like, send somebody with Sean, keep an eye on him. It was a nice community. I mean, the punk community it is cool still. And then it was super cool. So I was just all in. And then my interest started changing quickly. Like I'm into punk. Oh, wait, now I'm only into ska and rocksteady and reggae and dancehall by like 1983 or 4. Now I'm into this. I was always looking for something. And then, you get older and just realize, dude, why don't you just do I just love all that music. But when you're young, for me, when I was a youngster, I had to be the thing. You know what I mean? Like if I'm into this, then I'm a rude boy skinhead. If I'm into this, I'm this punker guy. If I'm into this, I had to be the exact thing, and now you get older, and if you're lucky, you love all that music, and you're just you, and you're just enjoying it all, which is what I do. I love it all.
Yeah. Um, Let me ask
I
you
lose
this.
you every time. I don't even know if I'm answering the questions, bro.
You're doing it, man. Let me ask you this part now, reflecting. So, kind of a here and then thing. So you don't listen to your music much, you said. So tell me, when you made like Bag of Glue and you made your music then, what did you think of it compared to now? When you play Bag of Glue today, does it feel the same? Is it just nostalgic? What kind of take me through that?
You know what? Like when you told me that you preferred the second place, and I can see that. Like I kind of didn't like either version. Today I don't dislike it, but I'm just a better singer now, so I would sing it more naturally. I've been singing that song, I mean, Throw Right still plays however many times a year, not a lot, but we still play. So, I mean, we're playing in June, I think, which isn't too far away. But, I think, and I don't know if this is true for everyone, if they're critical of just themselves. People are kind of, especially in bands, they're always listening to themselves. What I have to do is like, someone just sent me a song that's coming on a record, and this one part of my vocal I didn't like. So what I have to do is I have to not listen to myself. I have to listen to really focus on just the music part of it, which is what I'll try with these songs if I ever listen to them again. If you just listen to the music, then the vocal just sits where it's supposed to. But if I focus on myself, I start picking it apart too much. You know what I mean? But I think I could definitely sing it better now. I wouldn't be as much one way or the other. But you know what? Just the fact that you told me you dig that version makes me happy, man. Because I wasn't sure how I felt about that. So
Yeah.
that makes me stoked. People aren't tweaking out on the same things as other people, and probably definitely not people in the bands, or that make the stuff.
Yeah, I mean it's so well done. Again, like from the artwork, and then you got the pictures of like a here and then. Like there's like a young, what is it?
Oh man, I forgot that. That's so cool.
Yeah, if you look at it here, there's a young Wheeler, and then the Wheeler of 2002 or whatever. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
they have that with everybody, and so there's so much artwork into it, and it feels like the album made a lot of sense. You got up with the intro, which is Spanish, just no words though, and so I have to translate, like always figuring out what it means. But it's desert, very Southwest feel, desert feel, and the flow of it just fucking makes a lot of sense too. I feel so yeah, and
That's cool. We tried really, the guy that recorded that record is this guy named Cameron Webb. He produced it and engineered it, and he ended up doing really. He's successful. I mean, you have to look him up, Cameron Webb, but he's done all kinds of records, man, for all kinds of bands. I think like Motorhead, a lot of Motorhead records, and Social Distortion, and
Mhm.
Pennywise, and he does all kinds of work for Fat Mike or did, and so we were lucky to catch him. You know what I mean? Before he kind of like took off a little bit. Anyways, I've been lucky with anyways, meeting really cool producers and engineers, and people are pretty cool. Anyways, they'll take time to do stuff if they have time and they're into it. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's cool, man. Yeah, I haven't listened to that record at all. I mean, maybe once. I think I do like that. God, I don't remember what's on that record. So proud. I think is there a song? I'm so
So
proud.
glad, so proud.
Yeah, that's a Link Ray. A Link Ray. Yeah, I think that's a Link Ray song,
Yeah.
which is a trippy Link Ray song. It was on a compilation of Link Ray because you always think of Rumble, right, and stuff like that. You think of his instrumentals.
Yeah, that's the last song of the record too, and that's what it says too. Because when you go into it, it's one of the few ones that doesn't credit any member of the band of the writing, right? Well, also you got "Don't Be Afraid to Pogo," fucking
Oh yeah, the Gears. That's a great song, man.
yeah, yeah. And the skit and stuff too, which I want to know where that skit came from. 'Cause it
Do you
is
know what? I bet you that skit was either he was either doing it in the studio, goofing around, most
Mhm.
likely. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I would almost guarantee you that's what it was, unless it was on because we did a show must go off for Kung Fu Records when they were doing that DVD series. I don't know if you saw any of those. Dude, I got this place out way out of the desert, my great grandfather's first homestead, and there's no cell phone or nothing, which is pretty rad because it helps you really like not doom scroll and kind of just it's weird. And so I've had to set up a DVD player, which is like, dude, I didn't think I was gonna watch TV. I got rid, I didn't, I got DVD, which is cool because there's a lot of DVDs nobody wants. But anyways, could have been from that, the show must go off. Because we did like the performance, and then there's the voiceovers also on it on the other, where you're talking about it.
Mhm.
Maybe that came from that, but it came from somewhere. Yeah, he's funny.
Oh,
Jacqueline's
it's
funny,
cute. Yeah, it's a funny skit where she's like telling her like she's
dude.
like
And I think I wish I could tell you what songs. Does it sound like well, you'd have to listen. Any like on Bag of Glue? Is there like a Does it sound like there's a pedal steel guitar or anything, any other kind of weird instrumentation, or not really?
man, I'm so musically horrible. I just enjoy
Oh,
it.
that's all right.
I can't. Yeah.
We had Durwood Andrews from Generation X came down and played on
Oh,
that record. And oh no, maybe that was T-Tot. Anyways, it doesn't matter. But there's stuff that I forget about, like rad. So what I mean by like the community's rad. People are just available, like, hey, you want, yeah, sure, I'll do it.
which okay, I'm trying to respect your time, man, but I got so many questions because this next question could probably be older than the podcast, so I'll try and make it shorter.
Dude,
But
it's my fault, not yours, dude. I need an egg thing so I don't ramble.
But you mentioned Motorhead, and that's one thing I know is Lemmy was a fan of Throw Rack and did a song with you guys.
Yeah, and that's because that Cameron guy I was telling you about, the producer, made like the last 4 or 5 Motorhead records. He engineered and produced, I think. So,
Mhm.
Lemmy needed a favor from him. It was like, dude, can you come in? It's like a Saturday night. I'm like, dude, bring the song, and see if he'll sing on it. I'm all, tell him. Tell him it's a Merle Haggard song, and I wear white cowboy boots. Lemmy wears white cowboy boots, and Merle Haggard wears white cowboy boots. And I thought that would be good. He tells him, he's like, I hate country music. It was the first thing he said, but it was just funny, man. But Lemmy's on there, man. I'm so grateful that he did it, and we got to play shows with Motorhead, which was amazing. Motorhead, I mean, I was into Motorhead like early on, Ace of Spades record when it came out. Like the punks always like Motorhead, like going all the
Yeah.
way. And you know what? Rats. I made some records with Rat Scabies from the Dam, the drummer, and he was telling me, man, like when all that was going on in England with the early like 77, 76 punks, that Lemmy was always the one like dude that wasn't a punker, but was in the same punk bars they were hanging out in. I mean, he's the older guy, and they all thought he was cool as fuck. You know what I mean? Like Lemmy has always been that guy, dude. Like you know what I mean? Like Rat's like, I would have swore Rat told me, but I don't. I maybe he didn't, but I when he I would have swore he told me when they were putting the Dam together that Lemmy was on the list of possible singers, which which would have been crazy, you know what I mean? It wouldn't have been the Damned, of course, obviously, It's like that Zeppelin movie. They were originally going to get this other dude to sing. It would have just never been, what it was. It's funny, dude, because I got into punk and I was into Kiss, and then I started getting into punk and stuff. I never even listened to a Led Zeppelin album until like last year or something. Isn't that
But
nuts? I just missed all that and never cared to revisit it. Now I hear this is rad. What a trip.
it's like Brand Idiot. That's
Yeah,
funny.
I just missed so much classic rock like Nirvana too. I don't even still don't know if I've ever listened to a whole Nirvana album. Like I'm so like I'll get like stuck on the same thing sometimes. But my youngest son, he's 19, but I got him a Nirvana record, so I go, oh, obviously it's good, like there's a
Yeah.
reason these bands are like, iconic and forever bands, and it's not because whether you like it or not, there's something about them that resonates with a whole lot of people, and it's probably because they don't suck, But, anyways, I know I need to explore more, listen to more music.
Well,
I listen to a lot of music, bro. Don't get me wrong, but
just not much of your own, yeah? Yeah.
no, I don't like hearing my own music after it's done. Then I don't want to. I don't. That would be weird, right? Like, dude, I want to put on some song. Like put on your own music and listen to it knowing you're like, yeah, rocking out. So
Yeah.
I got this new band with called the A100s with Matt
Yeah.
Hensley from Flog Molly, the accordion player, and it's like a traditional ska, some rock steady reggae, with some conjunto. It's got some other stuff in it. So I listened to that because I'm trying to because it's coming out on Pirate Press Records on July 11th, I think. It's pretty soon, regardless. And I've been listening to that record a lot because I'm just trying to, memorize the words. You know what I mean? So I've been practicing to it, but
Yeah.
I forgot. Yeah, I'm excited about that. I'll probably be doing that. We're gonna start doing shows like pretty soon, so that's gonna be fun.
That'll be fun. Yeah. Fucking.
That's like an infomercial, huh?
No, I fucking dig it, dude. So let me ask you this bit too. This is what's crazy about, I think, not just like, because everything you seem to touch on, you're always, I don't want to say performative, but you have, like, it seems like, for me, it's like I'm getting like the full fucking show. It's so freaking awesome. You have all this energy, like almost like you're probably doing it for the first time. But I know, like you just said, you went to Australia, you have all these different acts and stuff. How do you stay motivated to where like every time you play, like if you go on YouTube and stuff like this, there's not like a low energy show of yours. Like how do you
Dude,
stay?
I know. I sometimes I'm out there because I'm like I'm not the most organized person, and there's no one to blame but me. Like I got this Instagram account and I don't even have a Bandcamp. And I've probably got like 15 or 20 records I've made, like with different stuff. Then that would be the obvious place to have them on a band. You know what I mean? But it's like I still love I just love playing, man. I play all the time, man. I play all the time with all kinds of different groups, and you know, this is why Matt Hensley's running the program for the other ones. I don't think he wants to play for 15 people every night for the rest of his life, like me. I'm like, dude, I'm still playing for 30 or 40 people, man. This is crazy. But it's not about, hey, I just like playing, man. So if I don't have nothing going on and I can go do something, I'm gonna do it. You know what I mean? Whether there's gonna be, I'm gonna try not to lose money, and I'm gonna try to make a little money, which is little, but that's okay. Because, dude, what else would I do? Sit home and look at my phone? I like it. It's not for everybody, though. People think they want to tour, and it's kind of, van touring, and it's not the easiest thing. I mean, I like it. It's not hard for me because I like it, but I can see how it's not for everybody. You know what I mean? And and I just try to enjoy my time, man. If I'm somewhere that has a museum, I'll go check out the museum. If they're or the botanical gardens, shit like that. You know what I mean? It's like because I don't drink, so I'm up early, and I do have a lot of energy. You're right, and I just like people. I'm just always been super social, so. Uh, the way I'm talking to you, I'm like, so why my wife doesn't go to the supermarket with me. I'll just be talking to strangers like, dude, let's go, man. The ice cream's melting. You know what I mean? Blah, blah, blah. Hey, this old dude told me, Sean, you got to learn to listen and listen to learn. And I'm still trying, man. It's good advice. But, we are doing what is this, a podcast?
Yeah, yeah.
We're doing a podcast. So we're supposed to be talking, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I want to hear, and I think also, man, like, it probably you wouldn't be you if you didn't, if you weren't that way, which is what, because I didn't want to speak out of turn, but sounds like I was right. It's like your happy place, whether it's like a couple hundred kids or 15 kids, you seem to give the same energy in that.
Oh, totally, dude. And honestly, I like playing. I like it. I mean, of course, I like people there, but I do like when it's like where I can touch everyone, get out there, get in the audience where it's close. I like low stages. I like, what I mean? I like being in the
We're
mix.
intimate.
Yeah, I like it. Like, woo, let's get it. I mean, but my hat's off to these other guys that play these big, because it's just a different monster. I've experienced it a little, but it's just different. You know what I mean? It's totally different. Like with that disconnect, where you're not. I like playing in bars and like little clubs and garages and house parties and all of it. I really do.
Okay. All right, man. So let me go back to Back of Glue. Anything else, all right, fun stories that you want to say about that era or that song?
Well, God, man, I don't know. I had a lot to say about everything, but I mean that era was cool. In that band when we started touring a lot, and then people liked us. Uh, it's hard to, dude. I just remember in that era, it's like it's so hard when you're a new band and you're trying to get on shows and you don't have a booking agent and you're just playing any local show you can, like once we opened for this band Southern Culture on the Skids when I was still drinking, and it was this like ticket thing where they wanted you to sell tickets to, for your position. So we just bought all these tickets. Yeah, we need 200 more. And then we just canceled the check. We got the spot and then canceled the check on the club. You know what I mean? Like, fuck that. We're not paying to play. But anyways, fast forward, you're sober and you just wanna crack, like, how do we do this? And the cool thing was when we started doing it, I'm sober now, everyone else is cool in the band. They don't have that problem, so they're not bummers. Is we were a fun band, so a good opener for pretty much any kind of band, whether it's Reverend Horton Heat or whoever. We tour a lot, man. We toured the US with Stiff Little Fingers, Circle Jerks, The Damned, Flog Molly a bunch of times, the Reverend Horton Heat a bunch of times. We did a lot of touring. Circle Jerks, I don't know if I said them, but we're easygoing. We don't steal. We're respectful. You know what I mean? So so it's cool, man. And we hit a wall where we stopped playing for a little bit, like because people were just having a hard time being broke, being on tour, trying to have a house payment and all that at the same time. Like I never tried to have too much as far as bills go at home. That way I could live within my means to do it. Sometimes people roll the dice and get credit cards and bet on a dream or whatever it is. I don't know, because I've never done it. But we took a break, and then, God, I was going somewhere with that. Well, where I was going with that is we're all still great friends, and it's the same guys that still play. You know what I mean? Like sometimes the drummer, he plays in another band, so we have another guy that drums all the time, but it's still the core group of guys. Sometimes Craig plays the washboard player, sometimes he doesn't. He'd left the band for a lot of years, then he came back. But I just like that we've been friends for, I mean, this is nuts, man. Throg's been a band over 30 years. That's a long time, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it goes by quick. I'm telling you, man, you're just like, time crawls and then it flies, and that middle part is just like, what happened? That's one thing I've noticed. It's just a trip. And dude,
Yeah.
I still feel like I'm like, maybe, I don't know, I want to say 15, but like, I'm just as excited as I was when I was 15. Dude, there's this band Sin 34. You can look them up. There's this punk band with the girl singer. We
Mhm.
met him at the Santa Monica Civic at this Black Flag show. And we're like, oh man, we're from the desert. We got this band. We got a band too. Oh, you guys should come play. So we made a house party. They didn't have a guitar player, so they picked up Mike Vallejo from the band Circle One, taught him the songs on the way to Palm Springs from LA, which is 2 hours. And we made a band over the next week for it to play it, our first show. Then I went down to the Spa Hotel where my mom worked as a waitress, and I stole a Shure 58 from the lounge. I was so stoked. Sweet, got my own mic, man. I'm ready to go, and I'm still excited. I mean, I'm pretty excited still like that, dude. I love it, man. I'm just lucky, man. I found something I love to do. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I really am lucky. Like I tell my youngest son, especially because he's 19. I'm like, dude, don't worry about, because if you didn't know what you were going to do, which most people don't, that would be really hard. Like, what am I going to do for a living? I got to make money, and I'm like, just try to do something you love if you're going to have to do it. So he loves animals, so he's talking about being a veterinarian or something like that, or you know what I mean. But because it's I understand people got to make a living, man, and you be grateful just to be able to make some money doing whatever it is. But if you have a choice and you're lucky enough to do something you enjoy, it would be a lot better, even if it doesn't pay as much, I think, than the other thing. But that's been my truth, because how do you want to spend your life, But going back to like, yeah, that's easy to say, but hard to do. You just got to be stoked to get a job, period, a lot of times. So that in itself is the reward. I'm making a paycheck, but I've been lucky, man. I love it, dude. You know that. Dude, check it out. Check out my cactus garden. What? Those are some good cactus, dude. And that right there is a moringa tree. If you look up moringa, it's like the tree of life. And those seeds are like supposedly cure everything. I haven't even used them. I should. My friend Otis Link gave me that as a twig 3 years ago. Those things grow crazy. Look at that. After 3 years, and it's a tap root, so it doesn't mess up your plumbing. It goes straight down. But and Otis Link, if you look him up, he did it like a lot of the early Golden Voice flyers. You know what I mean? In 80, 81, 82, 83, like lots of them. And so I get stoked when I meet Otis Link. He's an older man. Like, Otis Link, you're a legend. I still remember the flyers from when I was 14. Just like when we were talking about Sean Carey. I still get stoked on all the same stuff because it was all so important and still is important, man. It was like punk rock's rad, dude, and we're all a part of it, and we're part of its history, and it's something that I'm proud of, honestly.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I mean. That's why I think Throw Rag's so good. Everything you do, man, is that you can feel that genuine excitedness, like you're happy to be there. Not to show any shade, but there's sometimes you'll go and you'll see a band and you can kind of tell they're just doing it, maybe to make that paycheck or whatever. But with Throw Rag, you guys, every shows I've seen, you fucking just give it all.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
And it's hard, going back to that, like you're in a van every day, driving, and there's going to be some nights where people are off because it's just hard, you know what I mean? But yeah,
And
I
you guys
mean,
are all cool. Like so many bands break up, they have bad blood. Like even like, there's bands right now that are like, quitting and stuff and there's bad blood and you guys are still tight. That's what's cool.
yeah, we are. I mean, but we've had our moments, and so even with those bands you're talking about, you just never know what the future holds for them.
Mhm.
Because like people get their feelings hurt and weird things happen or they don't happen and no one's sure what happened and sometimes there's a happy ending. I hope there is a happy ending for these bands we're talking about. And other times there isn't. People just their feelings are hurt for right or wrong reasons, and they take it to the grave. So you just never know. Like a lot. I mean, I've broke up with a few bands, and then I've been like, and I was mad at the bands, and then I look at it and I go, well, if this has happened 3 times and it was different guys every time except you, maybe you had something to do with it. You know what I mean? You got to own it, man. I'm not the easiest guy. Like Xander used to go. He would go, Sean, you're rapid cycling again. He would call it rapid cycling when I get like talking too much and going crazy. And then my other friend, this other guy I was in a band with, he called me sleazo. They used to call me sleazo a long time ago. He like sleazo, breathe, take a breath, dude. You've been talking too long. You need to take a breath now. So I know that's not easy for people because I'll be like, la la la. I mean, I do calm down, trust me, but I also have excitable moments,
Mhm. Yeah.
for
Well,
sure.
man, I appreciate you so fucking much. You're a legend for doing this.
You're sweet.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me, dude. I hadn't thought about the comp or any of it. Like, I mean, it's 2002, and I don't know if I have it, but it's just cool. You know what I mean? I'm stoked you're going through it, man. Because on tour, we were listening to those 2 Canadian guys that go through the whole SST catalog. I don't know if you know these guys, but it's a lot of work. Like you're going through this whole comp, which is already a lot of work. You know what I mean? Can you imagine going through which is something to think about. Like it's just amazing you guys do this stuff. I think it's really cool, especially when there's you got the record to go. So the band's all been cool. Have you been going from 1 to how many songs are on the comp?
50.
50. Oh my God. Are you
Yeah.
are you trying to go in numerical order or it's impossible?
No, and I'm like a small DIY podcast, so even getting the attention of some bands is hard as fuck. But I've gotten probably at least a quarter of the way through. Some bands don't exist anymore. Like I did Autopilot Off, and they broke. I mean, they didn't break up, but they're on hiatus, so it's like hard to find some of these non-existent.
Yeah. Dude, I got to tell you something else too, and especially thanks for reaching out again, dude, because like it's easy. Like I wanted to do this the whole time, and then I couldn't find. I was like, how did he reach out to me? I can't even find him now. And then you did another time where you could have been like, oh, I'm bugging the dude because you hit me up like 2 or 3 times, but we had made a plan each time, and I was so happy you did. And I was like, what did I put his name under? And I think I put it under like punk rock podcast. I always use these like things that are going to remind me who I'm talking to, but then I can never find them. I always hide them in my phone under these things I won't forget and immediately forget. But I think that's really cool, man. And it's like, yeah, just do what you're doing. Just keep looking for the guys or the girls or both, whoever it is. And
Yeah.
bug them till they say no,
See, I guess that's what I should take that part in consideration. I'm like, exactly. I don't want to, be buggy, but I guess I should have perspective that they probably have so many fucking messages and stuff. So just
Yeah, I mean, there's, or because if someone doesn't want to do it, then they can tell you that. And that's my take on it. You know what I mean? But I wouldn't say, and I mean, I don't know this for a fact. I'm just saying, like, if I ask somebody something, all they got to do is say no. But if I feel like, that a yes or no would be cool because, come on, dude, none of us are, it's not like you're riding the Rolling Stones or something like you know what I mean? It's like, so I would imagine most of these bands could at least just go, oh man, I think a lot of people ignore things just so I don't know what people do. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And but sometimes I want an answer, because we don't know like what's going on either. Like we can create answers. Oh, they're not into whatever it is, and then it's the complete opposite. Like some stuff we can't even imagine. Oh, that happened, and then they just forgot about it. So,
Yeah.
anyways, I just hope you get every, and then you can start like being passive aggressive and going, we've done 47 of the 50. You're the last three, but I don't know if that's cool or not. You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
they might
man.
go, oh, yeah, now you're threatening me with like the completion. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I do appreciate you very much, and I'm stoked you're doing it, man. Because
Yeah.
we're talking about all kinds of cool things, man.
Yeah.
Are you still in Phoenix, or where you at?
Yeah, that's where I am. I'm out here. I'm in the desert as well. We're out here in Mesa. So yeah. Yeah.
Brad.
Yeah.
Well, I know that chip from the U.S. bombs lives out there in Phoenix. Is the U.S. bombs on that comp or no?
Oh man, that would be what Dwayne Peters would be crazy to get. No, they're not though. But they have another comp that's fucking. If you remember, they put out the disaster records comps and stuff too. But agnostic.
Oh, you know what? We might be on a disaster one.
Yeah.
They had to give them the boots too. Was that the same time period?
Yeah, dude, because that's how like you would. There was no Spotify and punk wasn't radio, so I would get Warped Tour, give them the boot, Punkorama, Disaster Record, or what was More Scars? I think is what he called it.
Oh
The-
yeah, old scars and upstarts.
yeah, yeah, yeah. There was all kinds
And
of.
then like they had all those honest Dons comps that the No Effects guys did, I think.
Oh, fat. Yeah, Life from the Fat Land.
That did, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're right. There's so much. I don't miss it, but I do miss it where it's like you can I don't know. I mean it's just a lot easier to get a hold of people now, I suppose,
yeah.
right?
And dude, this one was a big one because it was a double CD. It was $6, and I had 50 fucking bands to listen to. So it was.
It's so rad, dude. And it's no different than when I was like when I'm telling you I'm 14 and I'm discovering things because since there was no internet yet when you got that,
Mhm.
or very little, or y your mind gets to paint the picture, you know what I mean? And you're looking for magazines and you're looking for clues, you know what I mean? And it makes the whole thing so exciting. I mean, I still get stoked just going online, but it's so easy now that maybe I'm not, you know what I mean? There's less
Yeah.
imagining about it in the process of discovering the actual thing. You're like, wow, you know. Now I'm like, wait a minute, let me see. Okay, yeah, it's right there. You know. Yeah, that's cool, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
For you
yeah,
to yeah, for you to even be curious about all these songs is cool, you know?
yeah. It shaped me, man. It's kind of made me who I was.
Super rad, dude.
Yeah.
Well,
All
good
right. Well,
luck, homie. Did we miss anything or did we cover everything and more?
covered everything I needed and more, dude. I
All
again
right,
fucking
dude.
appreciate you so much, dude.
I
Keep
appreciate
rocking.
you, man. Have a
Yeah.
great day, man. If you need anything, just reach out, okay?
Will do, brother. All right. Talk
All
to
right,
you.
talk to you later. Ciao.